Hello, designers. This video is to help you build your furniture and refamiliarize you with Tinkercad because you haven't used it for a few months. So, for today, the lesson you're going to want to be in will be called wall framing slash designing slash inspection slash whatever else is here. It's a really long title. Isolation system prep. Obviously, you're going to be in your own class, not 8E4, unless you are in 8E4. So down here is what applies to you. You are going to have to join our Tinkercad classroom. It's not going to be this code, again, unless you're in 8E4. So, of course, you'll come over here. You'll go to Tinkercad, you'll log in. I'm obviously going in as an educator, but you're going to go in as student. And you're going to find the link that says join a class and then put that code in that's from your classroom. All right, so I'm going to designs because that's where we need to be today. So you are responsible for designing two pieces of furniture. This document here, criteria for 3D printed test furniture, is in your classroom as well down here. All right, so back to this. You need to make a couch and you need to make a bookshelf. There are links here to give you an example of what a couch might look like. So when you're designing, you can decide how you want yours to look. But the total width of the couch should be 3 inches, the height should be 2, and the depth from front to back should also be 2. I would like your legs to be half of an inch diameter as well. All right, and then the test object number 2 is the bookshelf, width 2 inches, height 3 inches, and depth 1 inch. 2 shelves, each about 1 inch apart. They don't have to be exactly 1 inch apart, but as close as you can get it would be good. So you might have noticed that I mentioned we're working in inches. So when you first get to your design screen in Tinkercad, really the first thing you should do is name it. Please put your class. I'll put an 8D3 because I don't have an 8D3. Then your name and test furniture, please. Then you're going to have to go to settings and change it from millimeters to inches because that's what we're working with here. That's all you have to do. When you click back, you'll notice that for SnapGrid, it's in inches now. And I suggest you switch to maybe 1/16 to make it a little easier to work with, or maybe even 1/32. It's up to you. You can decide on your own. All right, so you will have to scale these couches up to be those dimensions that I mentioned here, but you don't have to do it right at the beginning while you're working. In other words, you can design what you think is a good looking couch, and then once you group it all together, you can change the scaling then. All right, so I'll show you how that works in a little bit. So let's start with a couple simple things. I'm going to pull out this square here, and it can be pretty quickly turned into what looks like a couch cushion. All right, so I'll stretch it out a little, make it kind of squarish. If I wanted to, I could make it exactly squarish. What were our dimensions for front to back? Depth of the couch, 2 inches. So let's make this, I don't know, 1.5 on both sides. 1.5 for the width of this. And then I can change the radius, making it a little rounder, in other words. Now, let's say you got a nice looking couch cushion. This is what you want to do with it. Remember, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be perfectly square. It could be the kind of couch with, I don't know, 3 cushions or 2, whatever. You do what you want. But when you get something you like, you don't have to recreate the whole thing all over again. You can duplicate it. There's a couple ways you can do it. You click on it and you can do Control D. Doesn't look like anything happens, but if you use the arrow keys on your computer or you use your mouse, you can see that there's another one exactly right on top of it. Control Z that away. You could also click it and hit this right here, which also duplicates it. And as you can see, there's another one right there. So if you're making your couch cushions or your arms for your couch and you've made one, it looks good, you like how it looks, awesome, great, and you want the other one to look exactly the same, just duplicate it. The other thing you're going to need to remember is that you can group things. So let's say you got these couches the way you want them. I don't know, maybe you want a gap between them like this, maybe you don't, but mine are like that, so I'm going to keep it like that. If I choose both objects, either by putting a box around them or holding shift and clicking each one separately, I can then hit group up here. All right, when I click group, they become one little unit, and it might make it easier for me later to center everything together. What I mean by that is you might have a back of your couch. I'll quick make up some kind of squarish looking thing here. Make it a little taller, make it a little wider, bring it up a little closer. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but you get the idea. And let's say I want it perfectly centered. I know that these two things are grouped. If I hold shift and choose the back of the couch and then come up here to align, I can then click the middle front one to line them up perfectly centered. Right, so obviously this couch needs more things. It needs arms, it needs the bottom, maybe this needs to be rounded. I'd like to see some feet on it. But given that you're going to be making things that are exactly the same, duplicating, grouping, and centering will really come in handy for you. So keep that in mind. Like I mentioned earlier, when you're all done and you need to scale it to exactly the size, the dimensions that I wanted in here, right? It's supposed to be 3 by 2 by 2. You can put a box around it to choose it all. Then group it together again. And then you can just easily make it 3 by 2. And let's see, how is it this way? I can't see the numbers. There we go. 2. All right, it looks a little weird because we don't have the rest of the couch done. And the cushions obviously are kind of thick. So this might be a good time to ungroup the whole thing and then resize your couch cushions. But take some time and play with it. It might take you a little while to make it look the way you want it to look. But just don't forget to use duplicate, aligning, and what was the other one? I already forgot. Scaling to make it all work. All right? Good luck.